Hello, friends. No, the title isn't clickbait, but I've got some things to say before I go. Even though most of the people who I wanted to talk to already left my channel, but I hope you'll watch until the end. If you decide this is where we part company, then peace and blessings upon you. This isn't about numbers or subs or revenue. For me, it never was. I created this channel along with the persona of Pearl Manhattan a few years ago. It was a fresh start because the real me had been physically, verbally, financially, socially, and literally beat and broken. I started speaking up in communities online, and I was welcomed until I showed a part of me that wasn't in line with their beliefs. I tried to pretend to people please, but I was lying to myself and everyone else. I tried not to make waves, to keep the smile like everything was fine, but it wasn't. My beliefs didn't align with the beliefs of the community, but as that became more apparent, instead of doing what was best for me, I stuffed it down. Because of my childhood abuse and trauma, I learned trauma responses. The main one being that I had to earn love and companionship. And when that was withdrawn, it was because I had strayed off the path. For a while now, I've battled inside myself with being who I thought everyone would like and being myself. Here is who I am, and going forward, who I will be. If you can't accept this, I don't judge you for making the choices you have to make. Stay or go. Do what you have to do for you. I'm proof that hanging around hoping to earn love only leads to personal pain. I'm an orphan. My parents died in 2002, within 24 hours of each other from a similar cancer. They had been divorced for 34 years and lived on opposite coasts. I spent most of my life with my mentally ill, abusive mother and barely knew my father. At the end of his life, he sought to make up for lost time, but it was too late. So if I seem insensitive to your complaints or concerns about your parents, please understand that having a parent to care about is a very foreign concept for me. I am a widow. I had a mental breakdown in 1997, and I left my first husband and 2 children to live with a man I only knew from the internet, 3,000 miles away. The mental breakdown was partially from abuse and abandonment from the actual father of my 2 children. The man I ran to was going to help me start a new independent life, just help me get on my feet. When he drove me to his mother's house from the airport, I was locked in his basement bedroom where he lived for 2 weeks. He secured a job for me, bought me clothes, and took my paychecks as reimbursement for the money he spent. He bought me bus passes. I wasn't allowed to have a computer. I wasn't allowed to use the phone. There was no way for me to leave and nowhere for me to go. We eventually got married and I had 2 more children. In the process, he brought my oldest child from my first marriage and adopted her with the nickname My Little Tax Deduction. We were married 13 years, in which I survived physical, emotional, and mental abuse, as well as medical neglect. He was a narcissist. He dropped dead suddenly in 2009. I lost the house because he had not put it in my name. His family disowned me a few weeks after he died. I've not seen or talked to my second daughter since she was 1 year old. So when you speak of having a loving spouse or partner or husband or wife, I do not understand. It's not that I don't care. It's just not something I've ever known. I'm agnostic. I suffered severe church abuse from severe fundamental Christian churches in my childhood, learning that my gender and body were subpar because I'm a woman, and that I should be ashamed of my existence. I was shown movies and films about the rapture and told if I didn't save my alcoholic, physically abusive parents' souls and bring them to God, that I would burn eternally. I was told that I would never be worthy of God's love and would have to beg for his forgiveness on an hourly basis because the fact that I breathe was a sin. All but one of the father figures I knew in my life were physically and sexually abusive, and being taught God was my father too? Then I spent 34 years of my life in church music, in the business side of churches, and I began to see that the business of church was about money and making money and who had money and who was worthy. Still not a good environment. So when you talk about a loving, caring Christian God, please understand that's a foreign concept to me. And when you talk about prayer, understand I prayed to be delivered from the physical and sexual abuses of my childhood and the neglect. I prayed every night that my stepfather would stop beating my mother to a bloody pulp. That didn't happen. I was never delivered. So these things I don't understand. Didn't work for me. My son is diagnosed with level 3 autism. He's 16, but with his disabilities, he's a 16-year-old brain trapped in a toddler's body. He lacks verbal skills and social skills. He has no sense of personal safety. If he wandered off, he wouldn't know he was lost, and he wouldn't be able to tell anyone he was lost, and he would not be able to get back home. My entire life for the last 16 years has been entirely devoted to him. I have no concept of self-care or me time. There's no one else here to share the load. So if I don't understand or enjoy your videos where you show off things you've bought and places you've been, please understand those are foreign concepts to me. I can't comprehend of a life where I could spend $300 on a handbag when I go to the local food bank for my groceries. I just don't understand it. There are those who will react to this that everyone is going through something, and I don't argue that point. Each of us is going through individual things. I have tried walking a mile in everyone else's shoes, and I cannot. But to date, has one of you tried to walk in mine? I'm not going away mad. This video is not for views. Likes and comments are turned off because I refuse to argue or defend myself. Also, I don't want anyone thinking they have to change my mind. This is me. This is my channel. This is my choice. I will post videos here occasionally, one in June for a swap I was in, and the occasional video of my son or some music I've made, but I don't think I will go live again for a while. When my chat is taken over, while I'm in a live talking about music, and someone I trusted as a friend comes in and begins a conversation in all capital letters about another group on another platform, totally disregarding what I'm talking about, that's not okay. And I'm going to get my feelings hurt about that. And anyone who takes offense at me getting upset because someone is hijacking my channel, I'm sorry. You wouldn't go into one of the big popular YouTubers and just start talking about the sale at the local supermarket, would you? No. So, no, I need to spend some time with me. I need to spend some time taking care of myself. If this is where we part, peace upon you. I wish you the best. I'm not going away mad. I just need to go away for a little while.